Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. Senzo Mchunu has attacked General Mkhwanazi, and he did so on Mandela Day. Of all of the days to attack General Mkhwanazi, a public servant, you chose Mandela Day to do it. Hey, let's talk about it. Some people are actually calling Senzo Mchunu a ghost worker. He's the police minister, but he's on a special kind of special leave, the suspension by another name. You remember the famous Shakespeare quote, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." That's from Romeo and Juliet. So there's a special leave. During the special leave, the suspension of another kind, the suspension something, product of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. The police minister has now gone on the offensive and attacked General Mkhwanazi. So he made these remarks, as I said, on Mandela Day while giving a speech, an ANC speech at an ANC event on Mandela Day in KwaZulu-Natal. He mocked the outfit General Mkhwanazi was wearing. He mocked the other police officers who were on stage with him from the special unit, their carrying of arms, everything. He even reminded them that the ANC is the reason why they were on stage. Let me play you the clip. So I did a voiceover translation of this clip because he spoke mostly in Zulu. And I want to accommodate those who are not fluent in Zulu, familiar with Zulu, within the borders of South Africa, and also to accommodate those who are watching from overseas. We do have an audience on the dissection of people from America, Europe, Australia. We have an audience in Africa, which is quite wide and diverse. We've got an audience in Kenya, in Ghana, many other African nations. The other day, someone from Malawi was posting and saying that they were watching. I don't know if they go to Bushiri's church. I don't think so. Floyd Shivambu goes to that church, but I don't think my guest and audience member goes to that church. For your benefit, I've done the voiceover so that you can keep up and listen and understand what the man was saying. This is what he had to say. I'd like to say from the start that I'm wearing an overall because I was doing some ANC work. I'm not wearing camouflage because I don't have camouflage. And I'm also not carrying a gun. I'm just carrying an iPad and the papers that I will use here. Even everyone at this table, I checked their pockets properly. None of them are carrying guns because we're at a community event. It's important for us to respect the community in that regard. Speaking of this issue of camouflage and guns, I want to just mention that it's the ANC that fought in the struggle. And at some phase of the struggle, the ANC appointed black generals so that we as black people could have generals, that is to say, in the army as well as in the police. At that time, when we were in the struggle, all the generals in the army and the police were white. If it happened that you became a general, we even have forgotten those generals who were white during the struggle. We only know and remember our own black people who were generals. I want to take this opportunity to raise and highlight this issue, that our generals in the army and the police, the opportunity that they have was made possible by the African National Congress. They must not trample on it with their feet because it came from the blood. It came from the sweat of the people. Others who were meant to wear this camouflage, to wear these medals that are now being worn by generals, those people left us early under excruciating circumstances while struggling so that we can get freedom. As such, these generals must handle this opportunity well. They must respect this opportunity. These generals must respect the positions in the manner that it was intended when we were struggling.
Bagqoke lezi mendlela zama-generals basheshe bahamba ey'meni ezibuhlungu bezabalazela ukuthi le nkululeko siyithole. Ngakho-ke bawuphathe kahle lo mcimbi, bawuhloniphe lo mcimbi, bayihloniphe lezi y'khundla ngendlela okwakuhloswe ngayo. There's something about these talking points that I don't know if you picked up. These are the same talking points which were raised by Paul O'Sullivan on day one when General Mkhwanazi shook up South Africa.
I don't know, are these talking points being circulated on some WhatsApp group for crisis communications at this point? I think it's a legitimate question to ask because they keep repeating the same things over and over on the side of the people who are critical of General Mkhwanazi. So, again, the issue of the outfit. The outfit was dramatic, but people did understand what the symbolism was about, and they understood it to be a declaration of the war on crime. And that's something that they support. They didn't understand it to be some kind of a coup announcement or a threat of a coup. I think the whole coup narrative has been rightfully discredited and dismissed by the Minister and Deputy Minister of Defense, right? I don't think there's any credibility to that narrative, and no evidence has been adduced to support it in any event. We can't just take a version or speculation as being credible. There's precedent for senior officers wearing this kind of outfit. We saw Kehla Sitole wearing the special unit outfit prior to General Mkhwanazi. The symbolism in and of itself was appropriate because people feel that there is a need to have a war on crime because communities are not safe. Communities are not being taken care of, and they're seeing the impacts of gang activities, of drug activities. So people do feel as if action needs to be taken and the right tone of message needs to be sent to criminals. General Mkhwanazi was in the special unit. He worked in that unit. He led that unit. He's a well-respected member of that unit and had well-respected accomplishments while working in that unit. He was not cosplaying the uniform. That's his uniform that he earned, that he got the stripes for. He's been there, he got the t-shirt. Fikile Mbalula even defended the outfit choice of the general. He supported it and said, actually, you need to send a message to criminals that you're being tough on crime. By the way, I do have a question. Where's Paul O'Sullivan? Where did he go? He was doing lots of interviews after, the fiasco Sunday, miasma Sunday, when General Mkhwanazi blew up the political space, where he shook up South Africa with disclosures around the interconnections between the criminal underworld, gang syndicates that are dealing in drugs and guns, and the police and politicians. Explosive. On the same day, on the Sunday, on the Monday, we saw Paul O'Sullivan, left, right, and center. He was there. Where is he gone? Where is he gone? He was telling us he's sending emails and all of that stuff. What emails have been sent now? Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, where are you? Go to Season for Walsh or something. We want to hear what you have to say. Why have you disappeared? It's very odd. It makes it look like your initial engagement was not authentic and it was behalf of someone else. If you disagree with the issues around Mkhwanazi, why not keep the same energy? Even this week, after the president has made the announcement. So where's Paul? Where's Paul? Where's Wally? Where's Paul? Remember the Where's Wally's books? Where's Paul? Paul, guy, where are you? So Senzo Mchunu was also asked by a journalist while he was doing his Mandela Day work about lying to Parliament and about his relationship with Brown Mkhotsi. And this is fundamentally what he said in response. Same thing, I'm going to do the voiceover translation so that you can keep up. Here we go.
You've also been accused, Minister, of lying in Parliament, where they say that in Parliament you denied knowing Mr. Brian Mkhwanazi, but later on you admitted. What is the status of your relationship?
Register ethics and integrity Parliament ungithumelele insolo.
The Register of Ethics and Integrity in Parliament has sent me the allegations and said the response deadline is on Tuesday. So I'm busy considering the allegations. In fact, I have my answers. I'm just polishing them now. I'm actually just watching because my father said if I have a problem, I must resolve it by observation, resolve it with my eyes, and just look at it. So I'm just looking at the accusations, I'm working on my answers, and I'm polishing them. But they will be ready before the deadline. And I'm also asking myself, lies? Where? How? But anyway, you'll hear what I said after the deadline when I have submitted. But I want to be clear. I welcome and I love the process that is happening. It's very beautiful indeed.
But was it not you, though, Mr. Mchunu, who said you don't know Mr. Mkhwanazi? And later on in that particular revelation, it turns out that you say you do know him. Was it not you?
No.
No, my initial remarks at the beginning, as I'm going to explain in my written response. Anyway, let me just give you a glimpse. In Mkhwanazi's remarks in Parliament, he did not say anything about my knowing or not knowing Mkhwanazi, except that he said Mkhwanazi spoke to my chief of staff. General Mkhwanazi's remarks were to the effect that Mkhwanazi is my associate. In Parliament, I said, this man is not my associate. I've seen, upon reflection, that there's something that they did not understand. You'll see my explanation because there's a video of how I broke it down in Parliament. You can see that here's the first answer, here's the second answer, and so forth. You can see in the footage that I said, I know the guy, but he's not my associate. We don't smoke cigarettes together. Just like I know you, but you are not my associate either.
Lo muntu akayona i-associate kwenye indawo ngangichaza nje ngisho ukuthi hayi angibhemi naye ugwayi kodwa ngiyamazi uyabona nje ngiyakwazi wena kodwa uyona i-associate. From where I stand, I am innocent of those and I deny them very strongly. But let's wait for the commission. And by the way, I must say that I've got lawyers, I've engaged lawyers on this matter.
So I'm not sure this is an issue of smoking cigarettes together or that kind of an association. It's not an issue of whether you are neighbors or neighborly. This is an issue of the nature of the conversations and the decisions which were taken by the minister pursuant to those conversations. It's not a matter of simply being aware of Brown Mkhwanazi or the person, but about what actually were the material elements of your conversation, the substantive nature of the conversation. I'm not sure that answer was compelling. I'm not sure that answer was like, well, I know you, and you're interviewing me and you're not my associate. So, I know him, but I don't know him like that. I don't think that's the real issue. And as a result, I don't find that answer to be compelling. I've joked about him quoting Biz McKee's song, "You say he's just a friend." And I think we're still in that realm where that answer is not clear. He is right. Senzo Mchunu is right. And in that interview, spoke about how we need to hear both sides of the law or both sides of the story in law and in making assessments. So he's right. We do need to hear both sides. And you know what? Minister, you can do a sit down anytime with any journalist. It'll be watched 1 million times. People are out here doing interviews with McG. Advocate Tefo was on McG talking about a variety of things. I'm still going to dissect the Advocate Tefo, McG interview. It was so long. So give me time, like 2.5 hours. And some of the stuff is quite out there. So it needs to be, properly attended to. So the minister, you can do a sit down with any journalist. You can bring the public into your confidence, bring the public into your confidence, right? Yeah. In respect to the material issues which have been raised. You can do that anytime. The public has right now heard the version of General Mkhwanazi, and there's nothing stopping the minister from doing the same thing with a journalist like Sakina Kamwendo. In fact, I would prefer he does it with Sakina Kamwendo. You don't have to wait for the commission. Let the commission happen, but you can still speak to the media. Clarify, elucidate, explain, extrapolate. You can do that. And especially if you've got nothing to hide. Go to Sakina. Sakina doesn't hold back. I love Sakina Kamwendo. Sakina, call this man. He's on a special leave of a special kind. He's got the time. Sakina doesn't hold back. She asks probing questions. And we need to hear some clear answers that do not need really to wait for a commission, which will take years to complete and may never be acted upon. He needs to tell us, does he know Vusimuzi Kat Matlala? Has he been in correspondence with Brown Mkhwanazi? And if you go to Sakina, you can take out your phone like Mkhwanazi did and show her what you were chatting about with the man, right? Was there any correspondence about the political killings task team with Brown Mkhwanazi? If so, why? Brown Mkhwanazi has already told us that he was in possession of police documents that he had no authorization whatsoever to be in possession of. Where did he get the documents? Did he get them from you? Why are you having WhatsApp conversations with this murder-accused man? Tell us. Well, how did you meet him? Does he have any relationship to your spokesperson? Why was the 360 million rand tender awarded to a company with no experience? A company which is linked and owned via Bluetooth by Vusimuzi Matlala? Why was it cancelled? What drove that? Was it not a panic reaction to cancel that contract? We've seen the reporting. We would love to hear what the minister has to say about all of those things. What was his involvement or knowledge of personalities in the underworld? What does he know about them? Gayton McKenzie seems to know a lot about a lot. Maybe Gayton can give Sakina a list of names and say, here are the gang bosses in these various cities. Here are the gang leaders of all the numbers gangs, 26, 28, all of that. And then ask if Senzo Mchunu knows them, via Sakina, of course. What is his relationship with the spokesperson? Why was she given a pay raise and a senior position in such a short space of time? We want to know those answers. Because the Sunday Times article was not quite flattering. They were saying that, there's a situation that we saw at Coldplay happening in a Mzansi situation. They were suggesting, without going all the way, that if there was some kind of a Casper Nyovest concert, we may see ministers hugging others there. That's what they were suggesting. It's unclear where they were going with it, because it didn't go all the way. But he can be asked about that. He can be asked. And by the way, the media is still not doing enough work about telling us about this person of interest, Brown Mkhwanazi. News 24 did one write-up. The interview that he did with SABC has been taken down. You can't find it on YouTube. And I think it's because he was incriminating himself. They showed us a 4-minute clip of an extensive interview. The interview was gone. It's vanished. It's like that interview that happened on Newsroom, where there was that guy standing at the entrance or towards the entrance of my gang, talk about like, Mr. Brown, my aunt, Mr. Brown said I must come live with him. Mr. Brown, what I know about Mr. Brown. You say he's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. All you people who know Mr. Brown, you need to be explained. Some media people say they know Mr. Brown. They know him as a CR17 campaigner and all of that, but they don't know him like that. They don't know him enough to tell us and write up what's happening. We heard so much about VBS and all of these entities, but this Mr. Brown, hey, Mr. Brown, mysterious man, international man of mystery, Mr. Brown. So Senzo Mchunu is unhappy that the public is siding with General Mkhwanazi. He's unhappy. This is also the same thing which Shadrach Sibia was complaining about. Also unhappy, like, why are the public with this guy? Oh, and I'm the one. Who? This AKA matter. I'm the one. It was me on the AKA. Let's understand something, and I think everyone needs to understand something. Senzo Mchunu, Sibia, all of these guys, they need to understand something. Why has General Mkhwanazi been compelling as a whistleblower? It's for a variety of reasons. Number one, he explained the track record of the political killings task team. Very successful. He compared it with the General South African Police Service. All of the things that he said are ascertainable, and the convictions are part of the public record. The general was even going so far as to share his WhatsApp messages with Brown Mkhwanazi on live television. He was on Eyewitness News reading messages, showing them. And I'm sure he even shared that information with journalists. The minister could have done the same, right? He could still do the same. But he spoke about talking to his lawyers, and Sibia also was talking about talking to his lawyers, not necessarily bringing the public into, their confidence. The issues of police corruption and gang activity are well known by the public because people have to take, evasive measures, and they have to protect themselves. And one of the ways that they do that is advising each other which neighborhoods not to go to and telling each other which neighborhoods are having particular types of activities happening in them. So some of the things that were being said by General Mkhwanazi are known by the public and understood by the public and have been observed by the public for a very long time. We've also seen various issues of people, in the gang communities being murdered. We've seen witnesses being reported to have been shot outside of, courts. And all of that has been understood and observed by a public for a very long time. So part of what Mkhwanazi said was a affirmation and confirmation of what the public has been observing in their own lives and in their own communities, right? The other issues are that the media has corroborated versions of what General Mkhwanazi has said. We know that Vusimuzi Matlala is currently undergoing trial. We've seen journalists corroborating versions that have been given around the corruption with Tembisa Hospital, the corruption of particular individuals in relation to various tenders. If Senzo Mchunu wants to win the public over and to get the same reaction that General Mkhwanazi is getting, he can't use legalistic tactics, delaying type of rhetoric like, I'm waiting for the commission. Let's just wait. Let's just chill. Let's just wait. People actually don't feel like they can wait. The ANC and even President Ramaphosa, to an extent, were trying to play down the significance of the moment on Fiasco Sunday. Waiting 7 days to announce an intervention, announcing an intervention that's going to require a long period of time to wait. And in fact, the terms of reference, I don't think, have been released. The public feels like crime is an emergency. And in a reality, it is an emergency. The 27,000 murders last year, 27,000 the previous year, the numbers going up. That's not normal. So many incidents of sexual assaults of various natures. Women don't feel safe. People don't feel like they can jog around their own neighborhoods. People are spending lots of money for private security. People are buying German shepherds. They're buying pit bulls. They're buying a variety of dogs trying to keep safe. Children don't play in the streets in particular neighborhoods. Parents are always trying to pick up their kids after school, always panicking and worried about what's going to happen to their kids. And it's justified because, as Trump said, terrible things are happening. And those terrible things are crime. So the legalistic tactics and saying, I'll tell the commission, it sounds like there's a lack of appreciation of the urgency and also a lack of appreciation of what General Mkhwanazi has done. He has let the cat out of the bag. Why do you think it is that people went to watch Advocate Tefo's interview, and I think it's over 1 million views now? It's because they view him as somebody who raised some of these issues about some of these characters a while ago. Some of the things that he said they may not believe, but they are willing to hear what he has to say because they're genuinely concerned about this issue. So if Senzo Mchunu wants to win the public over, he can't do so through this strategy, in my opinion. What I would recommend is go do a full 1-hour interview with Sakina Kamwendo, dealing with the allegations that have been raised. Bring your phone. Show her your WhatsApp messages. Show her what you were talking about with Brian Mkhwanazi. Explain your involvement with all of these people, if any. And if none, go and disprove all of the allegations, innuendos, and insinuations which have been made about your name. I don't think waiting for the commission is enough. And if I was a comm strategist helping you out, I wouldn't advise you to approach this by attacking Mkhwanazi and all of these things. I don't think they're going to work, that their strategy is going to work. Because the public support him for a reason. And it doesn't look like you understand why the public. It's not because the media is doing it. No. From day one, the public was with him because they trust him. They've seen how he's been working. Even Sibiya was willing to acknowledge that, Mkhwanazi is doing a good job. So attacking him for his clothes, etc., that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Attacking him on procedure, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Anyway, guys, I don't know. What do you think about the remarks made by Senzo Mchunu? Did you see them yesterday? Has he changed your mind? Let's have a conversation in the comment section. I'll meet you there.